Hello everyone, it's the 29th of June 2013. I'm Dwight Schmuck. This is the Schmuck Look. And we're going to talk about three things today. This might be a little long, so be it. First of all, I saw this thing on the David Pakman show it just struck me. Google this, Christian domestic discipline. They advocate spanking the wife for misdeeds and missayings, and because the husband, according to the Bible, is the head of the household and must be obeyed. Now, that doesn't mean, guys, according to the website Christian Domestic Discipline, that suddenly you're the Lord God Almighty and your every wish is her every command. No, then this is, you talk it out first that the wife is to be subservient to the husband because he's the head of the household, the breadwinner, even though today, in most families, the wife is also working a full-time job. Not because she wants to, but because she has to. My wife works a full-time job. I'm disabled. I do the cooking. I have dinner ready for her when she gets home. I used to be a chef. I'm allowed. I used to be a baker, so I bake a lot of stuff too. It's one of the reasons I'm so fat. But, I can do that little bit around the house to help her out, and I'm more than happy to do so. But again, when I was working and making a lot of money, she was also working and, spanking to discipline your wife. Out of the question. She's a big girl too. I dare say she could beat the shit out of 50% of the guys I see these days. Easily, handily, and have time for a cigarette afterwards because she still wouldn't be out of breath. Like I said, she's a farm girl, she's a big girl, she knows what it's about. Spanking. Yeah, and the site also says they know that it can be erotic, but that's okay because the Lord God put eroticism into us. Seems to me... Oh yeah, but it's only supposed to be erotic in the context of a real godly marriage, a man and a woman. We'll cancel the gay thing real quick right now. I'm telling you right now, folks, my mind is Christianity is being used again, as they did it back in the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, the Inquisitions and all of that. Christianity is being used again by those who would be in control of you, me, and everybody else. Because somehow or other, they seem to think that they are the only. Now, what happened to all those souls in China who were following Taoism or Buddhism or whatever and had never heard of Jesus Christ? Were they all arbitrarily sent to hell because that loving God, well, they didn't come through Jesus, you see, so they're gone. I got one big question for these Christians and these Christian soldiers. It's the question that I find most remarkable and really needs to be asked because it just shuts down all the arguments. Well, there's two questions, okay? Who did Cain marry? And if they can answer that, then God went willy-nilly around the world creating people we didn't know about and who never got this message, and yet condemned them to eternity in hell. This is what you're saying, Bunky? That's millions and millions, probably even billions of souls roasting in hell forever because they never heard of Jesus Christ or the God you worship. Is that what you're saying there, Bunky? Second, I want to go once again, metaphorically, back to Texas. Last week, or earlier this week actually, Wendy Davis in front of the Texas legislature, and I can't remember if she was a state senator, I think so, or a state representative, but she made a 13-hour filibuster. She was not allowed a glass of water. She wasn't allowed to lean on anything or anyone. And if she got off track even for a second to bring in anecdotal evidence, or somebody would stand up and bitch that she wasn't following the rules, because they were really trying desperately hard to push through a 20-week ban of abortions and to make it so there was only 5, count them, 5 abortion clinics in the entire state. Texas is a pretty damn big state. It used to be the biggest state. Hasn't got over the inferiority complex that it got when we got Alaska into here, because Alaska is genuinely way bigger than Texas. And the dust down there and the humidity seems to have addled a whole lot of minds. Again, it's the Christian thing to do because, well, these women, and Governor Rick Perry came out there and he was at some pro-life function, and, you know, he was going on about, we think that every life, you know, no matter how poor the circumstances, and Wendy Davis came from one of those poor circumstances you'd think she'd know, you know, where it was the unwed mother, teen mother, dropped out of high school, you know, blah, 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 and she herself was an unwed teen mother, and yet managed to get herself eventually through Harvard Law School, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, but it would have been her choice to have an abortion had it been available on demand there. Would have been nicer. Or maybe she would have kept the child. I don't know, and I don't really care. But Governor Rick Perry, and there was another Texas legislator, Zeidel, whatever. Look it up. It's on the Young Turks. Okay? He actually tweeted she was a terrorist. Now, he has since gone back and erased the tweet, but he actually called her terrorist. We had terrorist, and, you know, you can tell he's texting. He doesn't know his grammar, other than to say, hi, grammar. Hi, how you doing? Huh? Glad you didn't have an abortion and kill my dad, because he wouldn't have had anybody as stupid as me making laws for people like you. Honest to God, Texas is another place I'm glad to be from. Far from. Last year, and this one is a, yay, Tammy Duckworth. And again, I don't remember where I found this all at, but she tore apart, it was a committee thingy, she tore a brand new asshole to a guy who got special status through the IRS because he's buddies with an IRS guy, to get a veteran's disability preference for his small business, and it turns out he didn't actually hurt his foot in the service. He actually hurt his foot in prep school. Now that's preparatory for college, but your folks have lots of money if you go to prep school. Preppy, they don't call them preppies for nothing, you know. Why, somebody got paid and it would be Preppy's mom and dad. This guy is a real asshole. Tammy Duckworth, by the way, is the woman who lost both legs and they reattached her right arm, and she was sympathizing with the guy at the beginning of this because, yeah, she knows what it's like, you know, to have this pain chronic forever. It feels to her right now like her right heel is being nailed to something, or something is being nailed. The nail is going into her right heel. She doesn't have a right heel. They were blown off in Iraq when she was in the United States National Guard. We had to send them over because people weren't volunteering enough to go die for sand. y'all who sent all those kids, those boys and girls over there for no damn good reason, still haven't found any of those weapons of mass destruction, you should pack some sand, and I think y'all know where to fall back to Texas. Y'all should pack some sand. Yeah. But Tammy Duckworth tore this guy a brand new one. He should pack some sand too, because as she said, it wasn't anything incurred in the military in the service of your country. This was incurred, and you'd know it. You would. Oh, and yeah, you know, they're talking about cutting benefits and vet benefits, and, you know, cutting back on the disabilities. And there are these kids, and I call them kids, really, that they've done their duty, or what they saw as their duty, and they went way the hell overseas to fight people for an oil company pipeline, looking for those weapons of mass destruction because they trusted at that time the government. And they've been waiting for a year, 2 years, 3 years to have operations. More's the pity. Our government said go, they went, and our government said, well, you come back now and there's the free market, you know. We shouldn't have to pay because you had an accident. That's not in the schedule anymore. We don't pay for your accidents. You get to pay for ours. Just ask AIG. I said it before, folks. I will say it again. Thank God for people like Tammy Duckworth. But, honey, and I say this with all due respect because you are a hero, Ms. Duckworth. You're a hero. But this is not the country anymore that I enlisted for in 1969. I'm Dwight Schmuck. That's the Schmuck Look. Peace out there.